Welcome to the Geeky Baker. Today is National Sticky Bun Day, so I'm going to be making some Princess Leia sticky buns covered in a homemade caramel sauce. So for the description on how to make the homemade caramel sauce, you can click down below, or maybe I can figure out where to put it here. I don't know. So for your sticky buns, you are going to start with your whisk attachment on your mixer, and you are going to add 4 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. Six tablespoons of melted butter, not hot, because if you add it hot, it'll cook your eggs. 1/4 of a cup of sugar, just regular granulated sugar, and that is not necessarily for sweetness, but it is to feed the yeast that you are going to add. And I am using a Fleischmann's Rapid Rise yeast, and I've gone ahead and mixed that in with my flour. You're going to start by adding 2 cups plus your yeast. I just poured that on top. And you are going to let that mix until it is combined. Then we're going to switch to our bread hook. Next, you're going to add in your buttermilk. You are going to need 6 ounces. And now we let it go. Now, once it looks about like this, you're going to take your whisk attachment off. See, it's already starting to form some good gluten, sticking together. And you're going to add about 3/4 of your remaining 2 cups of flour. You don't want to add it all because you don't know how much moisture your flour is going to absorb, and if you add too much, it'll be too hard. So about 1/2 cup left, and then you're going to switch to your bread hook. Now, obviously you can knead this by hand. Now, you know your dough is just about ready when it starts gathering up everything from the side of the bowl and everything is clean. And it turns into a nice ball. So you can see this is starting to form to a nice ball. Now, this is why we don't add the flour all at once, because I haven't added any more flour. And this is starting to stick together really nicely. We need some time for all of this to just settle, for the flour particles to absorb any leftover liquid that we have. So we're going to let this rest for 2.5 hours. And during that time, we need to make sure we keep this covered so it doesn't dry out. So just let that rest on your countertop for 2.5 hours. Cover it with some plastic wrap and it will be just fine. So I'm going to take a little bit of butter on my hands, spread it across the top so that the plastic wrap that we put on this for when it's going to rise for 2.5 hours doesn't stick to the plastic wrap. So we're just going to coat the entire thing with a little bit of butter. Coat the bottom too, or it'll stick to the bowl. And then we're just going to add plastic wrap over the top to protect it from drying out. After at least 2.5 hours, you're going to take your plastic wrap off. Punch your dough down. You're going to cover it back up and let it rise for another 2 hours. For the next part of this, you're going to take some of your flour that you had reserved, and sprinkle that down. dough out. And just knead that together. Kind of get it into a square shape. So you're going to start rolling this out. And you want it to roll out into a large rectangle shape. Next, you're going to get your filling. Now you are going to take 3/4 of an ounce, or about 1.5 tablespoons of room temperature butter, and you're just going to smear that all over the place. So we're giving our cinnamon sugar mixture a way to stick to our dough. Plus, butter makes everything better. And in this cup, I have 8 ounces of light brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. So you're going to sprinkle that on and rub it in. Now, if you really like cinnamon, you can add extra cinnamon. But we're going to be covering these in caramel sauce and chopped walnuts. And now we are going to roll. So start at one side, get it started, and then move across, rolling as you go. This will get a little bit easier. So just kind of tuck and roll. You want to wrap this pretty tightly so it'll all nicely stick together. So kind of pull it back a little bit as you roll it. Make sure it's a good tight roll there. Good. I've gone ahead and covered a baking sheet with aluminum foil. And now we're going to slice these. You can slice these as thickly as you want. I'm going to be slicing them into about 1-inch pieces. That's kind of the edge there. So you get lovely cinnamon roll. And you're going to stack those. Leave these lightly covered for about 30 minutes to proof in a nice warm area, and then we're going to bake them. 30 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees. Our cinnamon rolls are out, and we are going to give them just a couple of minutes to cool down before we coat them in our caramel sauce glaze. I'm going to add some walnuts on top of that. A few minutes later, these have cooled down, and now I'm going to drizzle them with the caramel sauce that we made. We're going to add some walnuts. there you go. Your Princess Leia sticky buns are all done. There we go. We have our beautiful Princess Leia sticky buns. And I'm going to give this a try. Super crispy, light, fluffy. Caramel sauce is really nice and light. Just the perfect amount of sweetness. I'll see you next time on the Geeky Baker. Thanks for watching.